last team's Haas. Chris has kindly volunteered to speak about Haas today, and this is strange because it's known that Chris actually hates Haas. So, first of all, the first question straight out the block is: what's your problem with Gunter Steiner?
See, part of me, I don't even know how you guys let me get away with claiming Haas for this episode. But my issue with Gunter, do you know what it is? It's the lying and the lack of improvement as in certain aspects of being a manager, where like you're blaming others for things that are partially your fault as well. So it's like his whole like we don't do rookies thing is like that's the only way you're gonna get a star driver. Like there's no other reason for you to go to Haas if you're a driver that's levels. There's nothing there. They don't have like true mechanics, just engineers like that are just working on the car. Like there's no reason for anyone to go to Haas. So him doing up all this big talky talk, and then the moment someone who comes with a bigger brand than him, than his brand that he's made on Draft to Survive, came along, man started rubbishing, man. It's a bit spooky.
This sounds personal. Is this regarding a certain driver of yours called Mick Schumacher that's no longer in Formula One?
Yeah, but
if that didn't happen, would you have an agenda?
Yes, because that team is awful. But there's a part two to the agenda as well. Because
if you look at the history of the man and the car,
pardon?
But can you not distinguish Gunter the man and Gunter the team principal and Haas? Because this sounds very you dislike the man himself.
Because they go hand in hand. Because you as a principal are a man, and you as a principal, like what you're doing, go hand in hand. Because it's like interpersonal relationships. Like all jokes aside, Corner is a slimy man, but we know he's the best at the job because he's a slimy man. Like Gunter Steiner likes to talk straight to people's faces and stuff, and normally that's quite good. But when you're dealing with kids and younger drivers, that's not how you build them up. Like I get you want to set a fire under someone, but sometimes you have to read the room and go, saying some things worked, some other stuff distressed your driver. Like Crofty even said it. He was in the Haas like motorhome, and Gunter was slagging off Mick when Mick was wrapped round the corner. And it's like everyone looked at man just like going, "What are you doing?" And there's that kind of thing. Was like,
no, but is it daycare or Formula One? That's the question.
When you're dealing with a young driver, it's a bit of both. Because look at Franz Tost. Franz Tost took Yuki from Milton Keynes to Italy to be like, no, this is not working. We need to manage you. We need to make sure you're in the gym, you're speaking with the engineers, you're understanding what it means to be a Formula One driver. You have to do a bit of both. And that's what he's not getting. You have to have a bit of balance, a bit of both to get the best out of these guys. Because yeah, that's where things go wrong.
Could be that they just weren't good enough.
That could be the case.
See, the thing is, in the case of Nikita Mazepin, it was clear that he was not to the standard. Yeah. And we all saw that. And with Mick, we saw he made improvements, but the team and the car situation got gotten worse. And replacing Mick is fine. And putting Hulkenberg is fine. But the way it was done was not all right.
Sorry, Chris. My question, I think it sort of goes into the last question, but do you think Mick would have stayed in any other team longer than a year based off his rookie season performance that he had for Haas?
Well, his rookie season didn't really count. His rookie season is like George Russell's rookie season. You're just stuck at the back. You just beat your teammate. And then the second season, you don't realize that George Russell got 0 points the second season for Williams. It was only that Mercedes drive that propelled him to, let's say, for the wider public to actually rate, man. In Williams, he got 0 points and he bottled it in Imola.
Yeah, I remember behind the straight line, behind the safety car, no?
Safety car, yeah. His stock was low. So it was a real bozo moment. And that's the thing what I'm trying to say was like, when you look a bit closer, you can see maybe there's a good driver in there and so on and so forth. But it's like, what can you do when drivers are not? They spend a year driving around the back and they're not fighting other drivers and they're not used to wheel-to-wheel combat and the pressure of wheel-to-wheel combat. Because Franz Tost even said it takes 3 years to become a Formula One driver.
Fair enough.
I've given you your Mick therapy.
Okay,
session.
yeah, but let's move on because there's actually
let's
more.
talk about actual Haas. What's going on over there? Yeah. So they brought in a driver. They brought in Hulkenberg. They got him off Martin Sofa. Yeah, he's out here struggling. Now he's here. What's your expectations? What's the move? They've got money now. They've got MoneyGram. They're going to hit the cap. They've actually got money now. This is a different situation to previous years.
So the expectation is actually quite high because they have Simone Resta, who was the Ferrari guy. This is his first full car with the team. Everything's under his control. They only did one upgrade last year to focus on this year's car that works on the improvements on the holes of last year's car. This year, they're running at the budget cap, so they should have like new equipment and stuff for pit stops and everything. So there should be no excuses on pit stops still being 4 seconds every race. Hulkenberg is there to come in and lead the team. This is clear that he's supposed to come here, lead the team, and drive the team forward. That is good to Steiner's words. That's his words.
Are we sure if he's better than Magnussen? What's going on here? How can you come through and lead the team and we're not even sure if you're better than my man?
Well, that's good to Steiner's words. He said on his interview on the F1 podcast. He said he's supposed to here to drive the team and lead the team forward. From what I've heard from other podcasts was that Haas had a bit of an issue with K-Mag. They thought he was driving down to mixed level, whatever that means. Because if he's done that, you have to sack that guy because that's not good enough, bruv. But like, that's why I'm there going.
So you're saying K-Mag was driving down?
Wait. Gunter said this. Who said this?
Who said that? Someone at Haas.
Some of the mechanics at Haas. So I believe one of them might be, the Japanese guy, Komatsu. He might be one of them. Believing on that.
Allegedly. Because I don't want this.
I don't have money for a lawsuit.
Look, I'm not saying Komatsu himself, but let's say I know that mechanics at Haas and engineers at Haas had said that. This is word from people who are
Is this from your industry? Is this from your industry plug? Because we know you're in the industry.
But I just listen to other.
Other content creators. You get me? There's no plugs here.
Yeah, I'm not plugging them. I just listen.
I'm just saying, like, we know this is Chris, no?
It's the street.
Oh
Chris
yeah,
Chris is industry. Chris is industry.
We forgot about that.
You forgot this is Chris.
So let's get this straight. So Magnussen was driving down to mixed level. Magnussen is not seen as the team leader. Hulkenberg has been brought in to be said team leader.
Yeah.
Even though Hulkenberg was out at F1 and he was on Martin so far.
Yes. That is the general consensus of where Haas are at and where they're going to. I believe that this season they're going to be spending more time like working close with Ferrari. So mechanics are going to be walking into the Ferrari wind tunnel with Ferrari jackets and then leaving with Haas jackets because that's how it works. Like back in 2018. That's how it works, right? You go in there.
You can't be real, man.
Come on, Chris.
They're not sharing wind tunnel time, yeah?
Yeah, that's what they did. They shared the same factory and stuff. Haas's factory is right next to Ferrari stuff. So all the stuff Ferrari had to close because of the budget cap. Haas just bought it and said, "Yeah, we'll work from here."
So you're trying to say, so Chris, this
is dodgy. This is like even closer collusion than AlphaTauri.
Let's say this box. This is Maranello, yeah. Ferrari HQ. Yeah. Are you trying to tell me Haas somewhere here? You just see Haas.
Yes.
Like MoneyGram logo. Haas MoneyGram logo on the little side. Like
they get coffee from the same stand.
You didn't say coffee. They think about it.
They get coffee on the same place, bro. It's all next to each other. It's all like this. Like one day Ferrari, the next day Haas. That's how it works.
So in theory, they should cook.
Crazy.
In theory,
they should cook. The start of last season, how the car was good instantly, like the Ferrari. Why they had the same problems as Ferrari.
It was good.
It was
like they struggled in the straight line.
K-Mag was cooking the Merc.
Yeah.
Lewis was battling K-Mag. I know they were getting cooked.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where their relationship is very
what's
close.
The Haas lineup for next year again? It's Nico, Hulkenberg and
Magnussen. And Hulkenberg's leading.
And Hulkenberg is leading. Oh boy.
So Chris, what is the long-term plan? Because obviously you're telling me that they're sharing quite closely with Ferrari. If Ferrari do well, which I assume they will, because if they've started like how they did last year and they're building on that, they will get some sort of race wins. So we're looking at Haas possibly being up there in the midfield. What's the long-term plan for like Jean Haas and Steiner and in this driver lineup? What are we expecting this season?
So what they're expecting this season is basically to learn how to manage doing simultaneous projects and their infrastructure improvements. So the past couple of years, they just literally built a car and then upgrades didn't work or they didn't upgrade the car at all. This season is about building a car, funneling a bit more upgrades, but also simultaneously working on next year's car and like working on it all at once, all together. So that's where Haas lie. That's where we're going to be watching Haas. That's where I'm watching Haas. I'm watching their strategy, their pit stops, their car development, all of that. I'm not really watching the drivers and the results. For me, it's watching their processes, because that's where we go sit there and go, Steiner, you're earning your money, not the results. Because if the car's good or whatever, I trust Hulkenberg and Magnussen to do the job. Like, they're certified F1 drivers. That's fine. But it's the rest of the team and the rest of the stuff that I was kind of picking up when watching them closely, because, I had invested time in one of the drivers. So it's like, now that I'm watching closely again, just see like, are you guys doing your job, or did you just scapegoat a kid for your own failures?
Why does it always go back to Mick? You got some trauma here, bro. I have to go speak to you, man. I got to speak to you, fam. With my boy, I have to tell you, there's some trauma here, man.
Because it's like Kwame. I know Kwame's been watching AlphaTauri going, oh, these man did Yuki dirty again. Like, you watch these guys here where it's like, is that when I watched Bottas make mistakes for Alfa Romeo, I was there going, I had to watch that guy in 2021, yeah, and watch George and the Williams for this nonsense. You just watch your ops that just go, this is disgusting. So I'm just watching, I'm just paying attention. But
Chris, I got a question for you about Haas here. Do you think part of their woes is to do with the owner, Gene Haas, having zero to no interest in this team and been trying to flog them for the last 4 years? Like, I think if someone offered him for a penny, he would.
The funny thing is, he's now calm because the team makes money. So when the budget cap wasn't a thing, he was trying to flog the team because he was like, I can't afford to keep up. Now that there's a budget cap, and now that the team meets the budget cap thanks to like sponsorships and stuff, he's like, this is making money. This works well for Haas Automation, the group, as well. So it's like F1, the brand is growing. There's no way that we can just keep it together. So now he's in a good way, and he's a bit more invested. Admittedly, he needs to listen to us and learn a bit more about Will, because some of the things he said about some of the races was a bit wrong, but he's invested, and all the signs are looking positive for him staying and working in Formula One. Like, he's making money now, so it's like he doesn't really care as much.
All right. So what's your big shout, Chris, for the season?
My big shout would be K-Mag is going to surprise people and really cook. And I think he's going to cook Hulkenberg. That's my thing. I think I think that will be the thing. I think Hulkenberg won't be the leader that they thought he'd be.
Are we saying cheeky podium by Magnussen?
Like another, how he got the pole in Brazil last year? He's going to get another one of those standout results. He's going to get all the standout results and be the one that shines all the light towards Haas. If the car is all right.
I said Magnussen from McLaren, on the podium and that. Something's going to happen. All right. We'll see what happens with Haas.